Thank you all, and welcome back to Breathing is Highly Dangerous. I am joined again with the main man, OG, and another main man, Carlos, that has yet to be on the he's on the Instagram page, but he isn't on the he's on the streaming services.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
What up? What up?
What up?
Time.
How you feeling with those 3 Modelo's in you?
Actually, I got about 5.5 right now.
You got 5.5 inside. Jeez.
I drink about 5.5, but I still got 2 Monacos to go. Like, these are gonna put me to sleep tonight.
Yeah, they are. I had to put my arms in my jacket, in my jumper because I got cold.
I had to go ahead and get the drinks tonight because I'm so used to when I get heartbroken going to the club and shit that automatically I drink in my hand. So I'm so accustomed to having a drink. But since I can't go to the club because my fucking car is broken down, I got to improvise. So I'm just drinking at the crib right now.
But hey, you're spending less than you would spend at the club.
Exactly. Which is good.
A cup of charge and the drinks aren't $17 a pop.
$20.
Hey, you know Chicago's cheaper than Atlanta?
For rent, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. More people get shot. More bullets, less dollars. It makes sense.
So what do you start off the conversation? I'm gonna go use the bathroom. I need a bathroom break.
And OG needs a food break.
Food bathroom, bro.
It's cool. Go take a leak.
Why did I keep this pizza for a day? I should have just heated up in the oven, but I was just very impatient. Pretty good.
Is it good? What type of
no.
Oh, it's a New York slice, so it's not good.
Oh, right. I forgot about the rivalry.
It's not good.
You guys just eat lasagna. Oh, you know what? Our next podcast should be about pizza and just food. Who has a superior
we could. I will write that down right now.
Title it like Chicago versus New York. Who has the better pizza? Or
that's not an argument. That's a sucky argument. What are you going to come with? Oh, we have thin slice, large slice.
Though, guys, I'm telling you right now that you guys need to come to Chicago in the summertime for like at least a festival or something. We can taste the Chicago or something. Like we could all do something, I'd be down. And that time I'll have my car so we could, whip it there.
I think I'm coming there in May because my sister says she wants to go to a concert in Chicago.
I've been telling my sister I've been dying to go to Chicago again because I'm just like, we have like this ongoing joke. It's so stupid, but when we went there, like it was like a layover too. Get to see a tiny bit of the city, but like the little interaction that we had just like stuck with us. There was like this guy selling like hot dogs, I think at like O'Hare Airport. And just like the way he was just saying it, and like for some reason, it just became like a stupid catchphrase now. He'd be like, hot dog, would you like a hot dog? And so like every time now we hear Chicago, we just turn at each other and just say, would you like a hot dog? Like totally out of context. And people have no idea what we're talking about. But it's just so weird. And I'm like, nah, I don't think anybody will ever.
We should talk about the environmental impact that happens every March in Chicago. Who the hell thought it was a good idea to dye that river green every St. Patrick's Day? Like,
oh, I forgot you guys.
That was possible, bro.
Like, how are you dyeing?
Where do you get all that dye from?
How much dye do you use to dye the river green? And you talking about the environment,
bro?
Like, where does that go? Like going into Lake Michigan or something.
Disgusting. That water is disgusting, bro. But when you're drunk and you hop in that lake, you're cool.
Bro, you guys' lake is like actually really nice. Like it looks like a tropical island.
No, what part are you looking at?
But the videos, you guys compared to our water? Are you kidding me?
Oh, like the Chattahoochee?
Okay. No, not Chattahoochee. I'm talking about here.
Oh,
in New York.
New York. Oh,
yeah.
Wait, there's Manhattan, bro. What are you talking about?
No,
the whole island, Long Island. Then you got New Jersey right under it, Coney Island.
The way it looks like an ocean, but a dirty ocean, bro.
Bro, y'all thing looks way better.
Like a polluted ocean on Lakeshore. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the I guess just the fable of sharks being in Lake Michigan?
What?
Kanye West getting married secretly. Like, how did that happen? And not only that, it's one of his employees from Yeezy. I didn't even know the brand still existed.
Isn't that a beautiful thing? What'd you say?
He's Kanye. He could do what he wants.
The Jews don't want him to do anything he wants.
Yeah, but that's not how his brain operates. His brain is like he just doesn't give a fuck. Clearly, because I think there was like an interview they had with him not too long ago where he was exposing the Illuminati and saying that his mother was sacrificed and all this crazy stuff. And I don't know if that's true, but that was something that I came across when I was scrolling through TikTok at the time.
Oh, he said something about that recently? I thought that was like years ago. Like many.
Was it years ago? I mean, it probably was, but it just came up on my feed, so maybe I thought it was recent. But
no, you're probably right. I might have misinterpreted the whole event, and it might have been somebody else. I mean, several celebrities have said it, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he did say something like that, and this is just kind of the backlash of society where he's being canceled.
I don't know. I think he's canceled to a degree, but by looks of his new wife, evidently, he definitely has a type because she looks like a porn star too.
Oh, 100%. Like, doesn't she
Now,
have like implants?
Question though.
Yeah.
So I'm confused about what it means to be canceled because I've seen people get canceled, quote unquote, and they end up popping back up on my social media for some reason. So what is it? What does that really mean then? Because I'm able to still see them.
Mm-hmm. It's like a new hit piece of the week. It's like people try to take your career. It's like they try to go back in your past or whatever current or something. You offend somebody, and it's like everyone rags on that person. It's like we're offended by this, and we want you to lose your career. Essentially, that's what canceling is. Really,
do they deactivate their social medias though, or no?
No, actually, that can't happen. Well, no, didn't his like Twitter page get deactivated at one point?
I have no idea.
I think so. Hold up, let me verify that. Kanye West Twitter deactivation. I'm pretty certain. Twitter suspends Kanye West account again. That was December 2nd, 2022. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's gone back and forth. Yeah, so I believe that his account was suspended because he's a A-list celebrity, right? So it's like he has a lot of global influence and for like a prolonged period of time. So it canceling literally can mean that they terminate you like your account, but it could also mean that you do something that may be regarded as controversial and society basically ostracizes you and says that, wow, you're going against the grain, buddy. We're gonna have to, cancel you. You can't say that anymore, regardless of whether it's true or not. But like his case is like he said something that was against the grain, or just I mean, it's not like just one thing he might have said or did. It's like a building of things. Like he's just been erratic for the last several years now. And I would say he has the Kardashian curse, as they call it. Every guy that goes with that family just ends up going crazy. Like, there's no way that's a coincidence. Like, every single person, like, what? So,
even OJ, by virtue of being,
see,
that he was the first.
Yeah, he was literally the first.
A lot of people actually, when it comes to Kanye being crazy, a lot of people blame it towards his bipolar disorder, his mental illness, and him having like these episodes due to not taking his medication. which is
Yeah.
I think the counterpart for it, I think most people have, or most anyone that really looks at it, not really looks at it, but a lot of psychoanalyzers have said is the thing that like broke the camel's back was his mother dying, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of was the catalyst to particular dysfunctions. And
Yeah.
not that he wasn't eccentric before, but it's just like, oh, I don't got any, like, he's not being held back. He's not holding his tongue as much, which in some regards is good, but I want to see, because he said before that he wants to be allowed to say, he can say anything he wants, and because him as a creative, nothing anyone says is going to stop him from still making creation. I wonder if any of that is actually, if it will indeed have an effect on the moves he wants to make, or if he's set himself far enough apart from these other entities and partnerships that he's actually going to be able to sustain himself and his creativity without the backing by all these other companies. It's interesting to see what the future holds for Kanye West.
I mean, on the bright side for him, sure, he lost his billionaire status, but you understand, he still has a ridiculously large amount of money, like net worth in actual cash. Like, he's worth over almost almost $1 billion. Like, it's just been halved to like 500 million. It's 400 million. Like, it's a lot of money. Like, he doesn't have to work ever again if he technically wanted to, and neither did his kids or kids' kids or kids' kids. Like, that money could last.
Oh snap! You know what? The wildest thing is, which that triggered something in my brain. It's insane that never in my days have I ever searched for anything in regards to, literally, I never keyword typed in Kanye West to any platform, anything, or Kim Kardashian into anything, ever, never. And my page is full of basically Michael Jackson stuff. Because that's like on Instagram and stuff, because that's the only stuff I have ever searched for before. So now that's just what all that pops up is like in my explore page. But in my recommended pages, it's coming up with Kim Kardashian and his child, which I know in the past he said he wants to keep his children off of social media, and now Kim Kardashian is letting his daughter like embrace that social media culture.
I don't think Kim is a great influence to the kids.
I think she wants to exploit her children as much as she can, because it's like, I have kids with Kanye West. Kanye West's kids are going to be looked at, and we can get all these sponsorships because it's mine and Kanye West's kids, like the most controversial thing right now, because our names are trending, our kids' names are going to be trending. I'm not going to stop her from posting. I don't care about what Kanye says about all this stuff, because this is a billionaire family, and this child is half mine. So with the half of mine that she is, she's going to be out there and being put to work and exploited. Like, even if in her pea-brain mind, even though evidently she's sort of smart because she's going to law school or whatever, even though it's taking her a long time, it's whatever, to each their own. Even if she thought, she's like, oh, I just want my daughter to have fun and I don't want to put restrictions on her. I don't know how old that child is, but no child ever, I don't think, until you're the legal age of consent, should even have a social media page. Like, it's insane.
Especially
it's really weird.
Because a lot of you could come across a lot of inappropriate shit scrolling through that stuff at a young age.
And most parents don't even like filter, even check their like kids like stuff. So it's kind of weird, like, as opposed to us, like our generation, our parents, but put a little bit more filters. Well, to a degree, because I knew kids in
There
like
wasn't
second grade watching South Park already and like
right,
The Simpsons. So,
it
but
wasn't
the way
as,
it's shown now, it's different.
it wasn't as accessible. Like if
Yeah.
you were watching television, your parents knew what you were watching, even if like they said, "Oh, it's a cartoon." There's no harm in watching a cartoon. Like eventually, like you weren't necessarily having to hide something, or there wasn't something. Like obviously, there's programming, so and different types of programming have happened throughout time. But the accessibility for children that are getting their own cell phone with the internet on it, right? Children with access to the internet.
So crazy.
The
like,
most vile of places on earth. It's insanity. And to think one of the most famous families on earth is letting their child just have not necessarily free reign. I'm sure there's some type of barrier or something, but her father, which is so in tune with the industry and it has some of the most influential impact to culture itself, says, I don't want my child using this. And then their mother, which is on the opposite side of the spectrum, which it has gained her entire lifestyle and her entire from exploiting the worst parts of humanity, right? I mean, it's human mind. It's like,
pretty much the entire time.
That's how she got her name. So it's like, it's such a conflict. It's disgusting, really. That's why I don't understand, like Kanye West's position on, like, how could you marry this person that was this person if you understood these things, or is he just now receiving this sort of understanding about what media is? And
I think it plays a part on his mental. I think when he seen her, he wasn't really thinking about what her past was. I think he was more so thinking about this is Kim Kardashian.
Over 1 billion people are thinking about her past and go back and watch it.
But Kanye is just, I think it's just, Kanye is just a different person.
I was one of them. Call myself out. Cancel me.
Like, what type of guy do you really have to be to want to wife a
Actually,
woman
there's been guys in the famous people that are actually like singers. And one of these Puerto Rican artists, I don't remember his name, Anuel or some shit like that, was actually.
Oh wait,
actually,
I think I know who you're talking. You said Manuel or Anuel?
It's not Anuel, actually. It's like J Balvin or J Cortez or one of those.
No,
two.
I think I know who that is. J Balvin. No, he's Colombian. J Balvin is Colombian.
It was some I'm correct me if I'm wrong. It was just know it was some reggaeton artist, right?
Yeah.
And he actually wifed up. And this reggaeton artist, when you're famous and you have a lot of money, you have plenty of options.
Right.
And this reggaeton artist decided to wife up Mia Khalifa, bro.
No,
What?
he did not.
Yes, search it up and I'll send you the link myself and I'll prove it to you. He wifed up Mia Khalifa. And the thing is, to me, is like, how do you do something like that knowing instantly I can log into Google right now
and see your wife getting pounded,
destroyed, demolished,
back and forth, left and right, up and down, getting.
And they must have a different level, a different mentality, a different freak inside of them to be seeing shit like that.
Right, and
I don't know what reggaeton artist it is, but I think it's most likely if you search up Jay Cortez, Jay and then Cortez.
And
Or just even search up Mia Khalifa's husband or Mia Khalifa's boyfriend, and it's gonna show.
Oh, you're right. Who the heck is this dude? Did not hear about that. I don't think they were actually married, but they definitely like in a relationship, which is insanity. Yeah, not to say that somebody that is their past can't get a relationship or anything, but personally, like me, yeah, I don't know if I would pursue somebody like that just because like then there's a stigma attached to me.
Sometimes I think it's not really based on the way they view the other person. I think it's more so of like for attention.
It is definitely.
No, it's 100% for attention.
Because like I know, like that would hurt. If I were to do something like that, that would hurt me just knowing that my girl's been slept around, ran through a bunch of times, and not knowing if I'm gonna wake up and she's gonna be in my room the next day because she might be in another dude's house. Like that That would be constantly running through my mind. So I think what it real boils down to is like having the attention drawn to them, and people saying, because like look at, we're talking about it right now, like people talking about them and people
Right,
giving
it
them
worked.
attention. It worked because it's like, you know, who the fuck does that? But you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of celebrities do that just to keep their like names like relevant. Like they just do controversial. Well, I mean that's a given. We all know that they do controversial things, and they date like just people like unlikely people just to like get like attention, which I don't necessarily think is bad either, because then it's just like I said, like I never heard of this reggaeton artist, and I know like a lot. And that one definitely never heard of, but because of that connection, now I'm gonna look at him and see if his music is actually good or not.
But definitely we knew about Mia Khalifa. Definitely.
Yeah, we all knew about that because that was like a meme like 10 years ago. Like we were all laughing like,
Yeah,
what?
I found out about her on a podcast.
On a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to really change the subject, but let's bring up Andrew Tate again, because I was on social media scrolling through, and I came across somebody's story where somebody had posted saying that Andrew Tate is being accused of rape, and there's actually like video footage of a female recording what Andrew said, like, "Oh, I love choking you. I love when you do things that I say for you to do, and you're not willing to do it," and all this crazy stuff that he was saying over the voice.
Sounds like a kink.
What'd you say?
It sounds like a kink. It sounds like he was set up for being kinky.
I think so. I think
That's a
it might
setup.
have been a setup because they were trying to say that a woman was raped. I don't know.
I have no idea what to say.
I don't have any point of reference for that video.
I don't. Yeah, neither do I. I didn't even hear about that. All I know is that his cars got like seized from his house by the feds.
His cars got seized.
Yes.
What?
Really?
They're looking for drugs, or like it's other people that have been. That's
No,
weird.
he was accused. He was accused of doing something in that country. Was it Romania? I think.
Yeah,
Or-
Romania of all
No,
places.
we
in the
haven't even
world.
done an update on that story. What is the update surrounding that? Because it's been a while. Let me see if there's an update.
So yeah, I said he had. Wait, I didn't know he was this rich. So he had 15 luxury vehicles, more than 10 properties, and all of them were seized because apparently they're just suspicious now.
Yeah, bro. I think his Bugatti, one of his Bugattis, is like 5.2 million.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that freaking rich. Wait, 5.2 million for a Bugatti?
And that's
What?
like if you were making $100,000 per year, and that's good salary. It would take you a lifetime to earn a Bugatti if you were not to spend a nickel or dime, bro.
Right. So what does he actually do that would make that? I mean, other than being like obviously like a boxer or whatever, but
That's all I know. All I know that in the past was he was a boxer, a fighter, kickboxer, something like that.
yeah, he was a kickboxer.
And out of nowhere, he popped up. Like I was one day just scrolling through my social media. He pops up, and I see he's doing like podcasts of like women and shit like that. And people are thinking he's misogynistic and all this crap. Like I just started to view him through. He kept popping up, and since I kept watching the videos, he would pop up more and more and more. So I don't know exactly. He does obviously podcast content, and he was a kickboxer, but I don't know what he does outside of that makes him so much money. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, that's just I don't know. That's to me, that's like even more suspicious. Like I guess he was maybe he was running a brothel, maybe he's doing well. It just said sex trafficking, so you could make like a large amount of money. Yeah, human trafficking. And forming an organized criminal gang.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah.
I don't know why that's so funny. It's just so weird.
But okay, so the update is that he had his court date on the 10th, and he was remanded. Essentially, his bail, he's not allowed to have bail, so he's staying in jail.
Oh my gosh!
I thought he escaped jail.
I thought so too. What?
I thought he got out.
Yeah, I thought he
what the
posted
fuck to
bail or
believe.
something.
You never know what the fuck to believe going through these social media pages. You don't know who's telling the truth.
Right. This doesn't make any sense anymore. Like I don't know what to believe. And I feel like
I truly believe that 100% of the shit that he says, though, 100%. Like, for one, women should obey their men. You know, that's one thing for sure. I respect that. I think in a way, women are just very intimidated by him because they don't want their husbands or their boyfriends to end up being and sticking up for themselves, you know? Because that's what Andrew is all about. It's about he shows, and he's about like a leadership role in a relationship. He believes that a man should have a leadership role and have complete control of what's going on. He's supposed to be the one that leads and dictates the decisions that are being made and all that stuff. So I 100% believe in what he says, because women nowadays try to take control of the situations all the time and try to boss the men around, and it's like it's no bueno at all.
So I think both sides should have like, you know, like equal like power, because you give too much power to one side, it goes crazy. You give too much power to the other side, it goes crazy. Because we've tried both of those methods. And
don't get me wrong, like before you actually make a decision as a man, you should obviously like sit down with your significant other, your wife or whatever, and try to come to a compromise on what you want to do before you go ahead and do it. Like, it's not just I say, okay, we're gonna eat at Subway and that's final. You're not gonna eat nowhere else. We're going to Subway and that's it. Like, you're gonna sit down and say like, you know, this might be the best decision, and see where it goes from there. And if she doesn't agree with it, then you could, you know, like I said, try to work along with her and say, hey, you know, instead of Subway, you know, I'm still craving a sandwich. Let's, you know, what do you think about Jersey Mike's or some shit like that? You know, I'm just trying to give an example.
yeah.
He's like, I don't even want a sandwich anymore. Let's get a burrito. It's like
That's what I got when I came to this podcast late. I was getting a burrito.
Burrito. I didn't explain that the right way. I'm a little tipsy right now.
No, you did explain it right. You explained it fine.
I feel like I was a little too one-sided, but whatever. It's whatever. Like, it is what it is.
If you get canceled, you get canceled.
It canceled, whatever. Even when you're not together with a female, if it was good, then they're gonna still try to figure out ways to be in your life in some type of way, whether it's lurking through your social media or
yeah, it's happened to me before.
Sending you a random text saying how you doing, you know, little things like that.
I was doing great, lady, until you decided to text me.
What? You just coming out of nowhere. I haven't talked to you in like a year and a half.
See, but that's what they like, though. They like that when a guy just doesn't give them that no attention. Though that's the way I look at it, because 9 times out of 10, that's usually what happens. It's like it triggers something in their brain to just go crazy with that shit.
Guys do the same thing, actually. Like, it's like, okay, this girl just blocked you. Why are you continuously beating a dead horse? Like, I don't know, but yeah, you're right. It's like people want the opposite.
Yeah.
And it's
but
like,
that's a feminine aspect of a guy. Men should not do. Boys do that. Like, if you're like an adult male doing
Andrew
that,
Tate does that, I guarantee.
if you're an adult male that does that, that means you don't have experience with a relationship. I can see like a teenage guy doing that because, like, you know, there's a certain power.
Grown men be doing that too. It's ridiculous.
It is, but that means that they don't haven't learned the game, like of how females act in a relationship and how males should act. Like, that's such an immature thing to do, but females can get away with it.
What, you talking about, like the calling no caller ID, or are you talking about the pulling back from everything?
Like the stalking aspect, like afterwards. Like going in, or like after you get blocked. Like, there's a trope of a crazy ex-girlfriend, right? And a lot of guys talk about crazy ex-girlfriend. But when a male does the same thing, it's like my stalker ex-boyfriend, right? Or it's like my abusive ex-boyfriend. Like
Yeah.
that's
It's
considered
different.
abuse
The
as
roles
a male.
completely change at that point. If
Right.
if I were doing that to her, it would be like he's a fucking stalker.
Right.
He's fucking creepy.
Right.
No, but for her it's just she's being crazy right now.
Right. But they want to take away that crazy. They're just like, I'm not crazy. If I was doing it, I would be in jail. So what is it? So what is it?
Restraining orders, everything, bro. Like, because like I'm telling you, like my ex would pull up to my house, literally pull up to my crib, and I want to answer the I want to open up the door, and she would just in front of all the neighbors, bro. I was like, damn, bro. Like
what?
If I were to do that, I would be like you said, I would be in jail. I'd be locked up.
Right.
Stalking. It's a charge right there.
And sometimes I think back and I'm like, maybe I should have fucking pressed charges on her because
Does she not have a job? Like, who has the time to do that?
no, she
Go to
does,
work.
but you'll find the time when
You'll find the time.
you'll find the time somehow, some way.
I just
Even
don't
if
have
you're
energy to
working
do
9 to
stuff
5.
like that.
So she'll come back at like 8:00 and
You just seeing like her calendar, it says annoy Carlos.
yeah, right on her calendar, bro. Annoying Carlos, bro.
Like clockwork. Like this is my second job. It takes a certain type of person. It takes a certain type of personality to do that, because it really is a waste of time.
Yeah, definitely have like some sort of like mental disorder. Like,
But
to
some
do stuff
people like that toxicity.
Yeah, I know people definitely breed.
Like me, naturally, I think I don't want to like the toxicity, but I think naturally I became so accustomed to it that I didn't even know that I was liking it. You know what I'm saying? Because in a way, it was like I'm getting attention. It was crazy because when she would do shit like that, I felt kind of like cool. Like, I'm cool, bro. Like I'm the cool guy.
You're being pursued.
Like, I'm being pursued right now, and it's like. Now it's over. It's been like we haven't spoke, bro, and it's like over, and it's crazy, bro. Because like even Emmanuel told me, he was like, bro, like,
oh, this was recent,
and Emmanuel told me, he's like, yo, dude, it's not love, bro. You're like the way you're feeling right now because she's not here. It's not love, bro. It's you're going through a withdrawal, and I felt that, bro, because I was like, you know what, he's right. Because like a couple days later after he said that, I was like, damn, I'm actually feeling better, like. I actually feel like not giving her a call. I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I could go throughout my day and focus and not think about her.
right?
So that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, Emmanuel was right, bro. Emmanuel was right. It's definitely a withdrawal. Because if you really love somebody, that shit'll hurt. It stings.
Yeah, trust me, I've been through it. Where it's like you put all your eggs in one basket, and it's just like you're just betrayed, and it's like, yo, man, I did all this for you, and this is how you're gonna treat me. I feel like it's one of the worst feelings in the world. Like,
it is because and the thing is, you got to realize is you're not the only one that goes through it. Plenty of people on this earth go through it, and they think sometimes in their head like it'll never happen to me. It'll never happen to me because I'm this and I'm that. But dude, it could literally happen to anybody. Like, look at Will Smith, for example, and his wife getting into it and singing along with somebody else. Like, Will Smith is a millionaire, bro. Probably more than that, bro. And he still got fucked over. So really, it happens, bro. And there's like, I think it's like all you have to do is take it as a learning experience at the end of the day. That's all it is. That way you don't, you end up most likely if you see it, then you end up not getting hurt the next time because you already been through it. So you can acknowledge it and be like, okay, this is something that I don't want for my future,
Right.
Back in
action, baby.
Looney Tunes back in action. Remember that movie? Like 2003.
I don't know any Looney Tunes movie besides Space Jam.
It was the unofficial sequel to Space Jam.
No
But
way.
that's a controversy on its own, actually. That can be argued.
Which one, Space Jam or this?
No, Looney Tunes back in action. Like, some people say that's not the sequel to it, but then it was like, because when the Looney Tunes movie that came out in like 96, and let's say 03, that was like what, 8 years apart. And some people were just like, yeah, no, that was definitely like the sequel to that because that was like, the second one that came out. But then people are like, the Space Jam that this one that just came out with, gosh, who was in that movie? It wasn't Michael Jordan because he was in the first one. LeBron. There we go. He was in that. But then some people are like, yeah, that's like the third movie. And so yeah, I don't know. I feel like that could be like debated on.
I don't have any legs to stand on. I haven't seen the second one. I haven't seen the third one, and I didn't even finish the first one all the way through.
Oh man, you missed out. That movie's iconic. That movie made me want to become a cartoon character.
Dragon Ball Z made me want to become a cartoon character, bro.
Like one of the
I
first
wanted to be a Super Saiyan so bad, bro.
We
I
all
have
wanted
no
to be.
idea. I would grow out my hair really long and spike it up in the shower with gel and everything. Come out running out of that butt naked and fucking
Kamehameha.
crazy.
Yo, have
And
you
my mom
noticed
would be
that like nobody has
my
spiky
kid
hair
has
anymore?
problems. What happened?
So you notice that nobody does a spiky hair look anymore? It's really strange.
Yeah, that was
Probably
a thing
some
back in,
little
like, 7th
Hispanic
grade.
kid somewhere.
I live in that kind of neighborhood, bro, and I literally see them and I barely see them in their hair spiky.
But are they Mexican?
No, I know for a fact they're Mexican, bro. they have the flags. Dude, I don't know, bro. It's just like the generations of Mexicans now are just like so different. It's not like how when we grew up.
That used to be like the
It
different.
was like the
hairstyles,
classic.
you
I
could
kind of
tell-
miss it, man.
Like nowadays, they're like really differentiating. Like, oh, I'm not Mexican. You're like yada yada. I'm Colombian, all this stuff. Well, I mean, back in the day, every kid with spiky hair and like a tan was Mexican.
They're wearing a shirt that says like, "Hi, I'm from Peru. You're Mexican."
You know, I'm Puerto Rican, and a lot of Puerto Ricans that I've known, because I'm related to, of course, hella Puerto Ricans. So a lot of Puerto Ricans that I know usually get offended when you call them Mexican, bro, instead of Puerto Rican. Like,
Bro, that's
if
like
somebody
death.
came
This
up
is
to
like
me and was
death.
like, if somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, are you Mexican?" I'll look at them like,
No. Yeah, that's
"No,
like
I'm
honestly
Puerto
death.
Rican." They take such offense to it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, no, those are like fighting words. It's like death.
Cultural differences.
Puerto Rico and Mexico don't have much in common, really.
No,
No, the only, I mean, we
Other
speak
than
Spanish, but our
that's
Spanish
the
is
only
totally
thing, but
different.
not really much.
Our Spanish is totally different, though. We speak
Right.
our Spanish faster,
Yeah,
and Mexican Spanish is more slow. Like, you know, we gotta go do a need.
right. Hey, Holmes.
And we're like, like, we're fucking talking like crazy, you know?
Bro,
But
when I hear
talk
Puerto Rican
talk
speak,
a
I
lot
have
of
to like
smack.
really put
Ain't
on my
saying nothing.
my freaking like listening ear. Like I'm just like, yo, what is this dude saying?
what the
And,
fuck
like,
is he saying, bro?
I'm like, I have to translate, like, because there's like different slang words. Because I'm so used to like Mexican slang. I think there are more Puerto Ricans or whatever, like in my neighborhood. Well, no, actually, I don't know. It's like
Dominican
Wait, where are
split.
you
Probably.
from? Where you from, actually?
I live in New York.
Yeah, so you got hella Puerto Ricans,
Yeah,
actually.
I don't know. It's like weird because it's like I think it just depends on the day. Sometimes it literally is more Central Americans and like Mexicans, and then like
But like,
I'll
what
see
part of New York?
in Brooklyn.
Bronx. So you're from the Bronx.
No, I said Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is Bronx. No, am I wrong?
No,
Yes.
No?
It's not the same
Bro,
thing.
It's not the same at all.
Fucking stupid, bro. I thought Brooklyn was short for Bronx.
no.
What?
I
So what
mean,
so Bronx is actually named Bronx. It's not like no short word. It's
No,
Bronx.
that's the actual name. I think it's like Dutch. You know what? Let's look that
Oh,
up. I'm like
shit,
almost
bro.
certain
I
it's
think
Dutch.
it is short for something, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah, it's definitely. Let's
It's
see Wikipedia.
the Bronx and the and Brooklyn are not the same.
They're really
That's
not.
crazy, bro. You guys got to come to Chicago, though. I gotta give you guys a tour.
Chicago. You
In
know
the
what this
summertime,
neighborhood is like?
summertime
This
shy.
neighborhood is like Pilsen in Chicago.
Damn. Man, that's kind of because I almost got fucking shot in Pilsen. Damien and Cermak is. You know where Damien and Cermak is?
No.
Yeah, that's
It's
on
like
the west
Pilsen area.
side.
It's Pilsen area.
All right, that's a street? I don't.
There's a street in Pilsen, so I almost got shot. Did I tell you about that? I almost got shot over there.
You didn't tell me about that.
No, I almost got shot. No, I'm not even lying about the story, bro. Like I was doing Uber and Lyft,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to go drop somebody off in Pilsen, which is a bad neighborhood. I went to go drop somebody off, and it was COVID time. So what Lyft requires you to do is when you have a chance, roll down your windows. So I rolled down my windows to get that circulation going through my car, so that way, because COVID and everything, that ventilation or whatever. I start driving, and I'm coming out of where the stop sign is, a little intersection,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a Metro PCS to my right hand side, and a hella gangbangers were posted.
Oh no! They thought you were about to pull.
15 of them, and I had my Jeep and I had my windows down, blasting music. They were all looking like, who the fuck is this guy? So the guy started shouting, "Hey yo, Amo!" He started shouting some crazy shit. He's like, "Yo, King Love." So I looked over and I was all like,
"You're like what? I'm just trying to.
I'm just trying to fucking get the fuck out of here." So I ignored him, right?
Oh no!
So as soon as I started turning that corner by the stop sign, pulls out the pistol, bro. Pulls out a pistol, bro. And I turned because I had a bad feeling because they were still yelling. I turned my neck and it's pointed directly at my forehead, bro, from like a 8 foot distance. He pointed it from directly at my forehead, and bro, I couldn't even drive. My body froze. Like when that happens to you, I guess you get in shock, bro, because you're like, that shit never really. You don't really know what to do in that situation. So like my body froze, and I wasn't able to keep going. So I was all like stuck there, and then finally I just snapped out of him and I drove off. And I don't know if he was trying to be cool in front of the other gang members, but if he could have really fucking, if he wanted to, he could have shot me in the head and I would have been dead.
So what? Wait a minute. I'm so confused. So you were just, you just rolled down your window and then you're just trying to vent, and you were driving slow, and then he thought you were trying to hit a lick or whatever, and then so
he thought so. So when I dropped somebody off, I rolled down the windows because I wanted to get ventilation in the car because COVID, right? So I'm driving and I'm approaching the intersection where the stop sign is. So he started yelling at me because, what
did you do? It just sounded like you were just driving.
I was just driving, but my windows were down. My hat wasn't on, but my hat was on the dashboard. So when they look at you and they think you're about something, or maybe a part an opposite gang, or they think you're sketchy, they'll go ahead and fuck with you. So that's what they had thought. Cause I'm it's a Hispanic gang neighborhood. So they probably thought I was a part of some other Hispanic gang. Cause they go off of familiarity. They'll see and they'll look and see if if their people are coming out consistently out of the neighborhood, they'll notice it. They'll be like, "Oh, that's Richard coming out. I know him. I'm not gonna point a gun at Richard. Oh, that's so and so coming out. I'm not gonna point a gun." But if
so
they
you
see somebody they don't recognize,
because you're the new kid on the
the
block.
new guy, they don't see something they don't recognize. They're like, "Who the fuck is this?" They're like, "No, we don't know if that's an opposite gang." They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if they go to prison. But that's what happened. They pointed the gun and I froze up, and I was like, I'll never forget that day. And I was like, "Fuck, bro, I could have got killed for no reason."
For literally no reason at all.
It really is true what they say. Wrong place at the wrong time. It's really true what they say about that.
Wrong place at the right time. With idiots out on the street.
Jeez.
Too bad there's too many idiots. The idiots outnumber the non-idiots.
Right. No, this is a gang problem in my neighborhood too. So it's I've seen people actually, it's so loud that every single day I have to sleep with earbuds because it's just that ridiculous. They literally argue every day in front of my house. I remember last night, this guy was just like, "Man, that dude's a fucking rat, man. Why you snitch on me? Why you snitch on me?" And then like I heard them arguing, and then I think his girl like punched him in the face, and then he's like, "Why'd you punch me in the face?" And she started crying and something like I don't. She's like, "Why?" Something about being violent or something. And then I've seen people get like jumped like in front of my house. Like it was like some violent, yeah, like some like Grand Theft Auto type shit, right? I know the active gangs like in this area is like Mara Salvatrucha Trece, West Side Locos. I saw their tag, and I saw Soreños, and I think Pyrus also run this block according to the NYPD data. But like I know those four gangs, but I'm like almost certain on my block specifically, like that had to been either Mara Salvatrucha or the West Side Locos or whatever. So yeah, no, these dudes like yeah, no, totally Grand Theft Auto like. And it was like some metalhead dude that was like super like longer than my hair, and he like hops out of a van, and then he's like trying to do like a drug deal. And this was like what, 2 months ago now, and I see them like these two guys. They come up to him on like a bicycle, and I think one of them was walking. It was weird. It's just like, and I looked at the guys. I'm like, they didn't. Most gang members don't really look like as stereotypical as you like think. Like they just look like ordinary people. Like they look a little suspicious, but I'm like, everybody in New York looks suspicious.
Depends
To
on
me,
what you do, because like for me, you could really point one out because they'll have their pants sagging damn near all the way on the floor, and they'll have a baggy ass t-shirt, maybe a white. It goes based on colors too. Like it's a plain white tee. They have a hat on a specific way, and you could tell.
yeah, they
like,
do the same thing here. But I mean, like, because I think even in Chicago, like sometimes with some like gangs, it's just like they try to be more low key. Because like here, like, yeah, there's just certain things you just don't want to do. Like, I always mix and match like colors that I wear because I'm like, I don't want y'all to think that I'm even a part of this. Like, I'm just gonna be acting like, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about. Nope, I don't know. And it's weird because it's like a neighborhood is like kind of gentrified and then like kind of not. It's like the weirdest combination of things I've ever seen in my life. And yeah,
That
oh my God,
transitional period.
yeah. And ironically, my roommate actually lived in Pilsen as well. So we were talking about that like the other day. So coincidental. He said Pilsen might have been like slightly worse. Because he said this neighborhood is sort of like Pilsen, like comparatively, except the only difference is like here, like people like some of the gentrifiers, they're moving here, but the neighborhood isn't really like changing. It's like the people that are here, like it's still like predominantly like Latino and then the Black Latinos or whatever. And like Dominicans and some of the Puerto Ricans and like some other Central Americans, whatever, and then the rest of the Latinos. But then yeah, it's strange. So it's also like Pilsen because it has the elevated like train that like cuts through the neighborhood as well. Like we have that. And there's like the underground like subway, and there's so much like active graffiti tagging. Like it's comical. Like I literally, if I look outside my window right now, I probably see a new tag. And it's weird because like I go on top of the roof and I look all around my areas just to see if I can see the graffiti taggers. And then I'll go to the bathroom for 5 minutes, come back, there's a new tag. I'm like, I stayed up until 4 a.m. looking at you motherfuckers, and I did not see this. Like I just want to see y'all do this shit in action. That's all. And yeah, so it's like cool. It's like interesting, but at the same time, I'm just like, whoa, okay, this is okay. Maybe I shouldn't do this at this time, but it's really strange. But then there's like people that move here that have like no common sense at all, like no street sense, nothing, and then they get robbed, and then they wonder why. I'm like, don't have your phone out like this and be like that the entire time because somebody's always watching. Like I don't trust anybody. And I feel like I don't have any problems because I try to like just, just blend in and just don't look like, yeah. I was like, nope, been here the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, these people, they wear whatever that's like super like expensive or whatever, and they get targeted. Even like since we've been sitting here, like I have the Citizens app, and like, yeah, somebody just got robbed, commercial break-in. Yep. So stuff happens like literally all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I could make like a movie out of this like whole block. Oh, take it back. Actually, no, there have already been movies and stuff.
The
But
color of money.
Color of
The
Money.
Godfather, The Godfather 2, The Godfather 3.
Oh, you mean New York as a whole? Yeah, then yeah, no, we like invented like freaking organized crime, like all that stuff. And then Al Capone, what? He's from Brooklyn as well. I don't know why Chicago even claims him, to be honest.
Because that's where he did his setup, and
Yeah, like I think that's when he really took off. But I know for a fact that he started all
yeah,
that crime stuff like in Brooklyn in like Red Hook or something, this neighborhood.
yeah, when he was a kid, yeah.
Yeah, and then he moved to Chicago at like 22 or something, so he was like already like at least like a young
Yeah, he
adult.
was already Scarface by then, I think. But then
Yeah,
he,
pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, it's a very strange city. It's like there's like elements of gentrification, and then there's elements where it's just like, yeah, don't wear like you said, don't wear certain like colors in certain areas. Like yeah, the hat tilting to the like side, left or right thing. They kind of do that here too. But here's what
Oh,
makes it rough. We have all the Chicago gangs here as well. All of them.
is my mic on or no?
yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
Oh shit, my bad. I was about to try to turn it on. No, I was gonna say in the suburbs it's different here because if you had your hat tilted to the right or the left, they don't give a fuck. Like it's more of like a party look. But if you're in Chicago and tilted that shit to the left, you're fucking a target right there, bro. Instantly you're gonna get checked. And instantly they're gonna go up to you and say, "What are you about?"
That's
Set you
annoying.
claim.
What's it? Folk? Folk? Yeah, they have all that stuff here. It was a little bit more like obvious to me, um, like maybe like 10-ish, 8-ish years ago, where like I really was like not, I was even more like hyper vigilant.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like in general now, I feel like things have like calmed down. Like even like just looking at like the news and everything, like there's like kids doing like bad stuff, but I don't feel like it's the same. Like I feel like when we were in school, like people just did bad stuff to just do bad stuff and they just didn't even care. Like I remember like
Like a lot
looking,
more gang affiliation and
yeah, like
stuff.
actual like gang sort of stuff up until like maybe 2016, 2017, when like Trump got into office, I noticed something about the news and the way that people thought just overall just like changed.
Yeah,
'Cause
I think has to do with a lot of the social media
it has to be.
making people stay inside. So it's like, I don't need to be in a gang. I can be on my phone inside.
And then like be an internet like keyboard warrior, where it's just
Oh,
like our generation, which are just like we were just in school the other day. It's not that long ago. Like, yeah, if we had problems, like, yeah, no, it just happened on the streets, like people just get beat up. Like that was
right.
just a thing.
Builds
And
character.
yeah.
As long as you don't have internal bleeding and then die in your sleep because
That was like people just shoot each other like aimlessly. Like before, it was
Mm.
just like, oh, you're part of this gang, or oh, you're doing this particular like action. Well, this is the consequence, this is the result, and then yeah, something happens to you. Whereas now it's just like, huh, I'm homeless, I'm poor. In the past, what I would do is if I'm homeless and poor, I would go break into a house and then I would go squat. And if I'm poor, I go, go steal some money. Nowadays, it's just like, I'm homeless and I don't have money. I know what I should do. I should shoot up the school and go fuck a turkey. Like, what? There's no like correlation to crime anymore. It's just
Oh,
like, what's your motive?
go fuck a turkey.
Like,
Hey, bro.
that's it.
That's what we call a
It's just
proper basting.
God, bro.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah,
what we call a nice and stuffed turkey.
stuffed toikies. Yeah, and another thing they do here now that this wasn't really much of an issue is that people get pushed onto the subway trains a lot, like the tracks, and people like die. They said like those numbers have spiked like tremendously in the last 2 years. Whereas even when the crime rate was like astronomically high back in the like 80s or 70s, 80s, going into like the 90s, like that was never really an issue when they had more opportunities to do it and less surveillance. So it's like
And
clearly something's changed.
the subways don't even look like they do in Japan. So it's like the people are being. I think I don't know. That's just wild. It doesn't even make sense for specific people to be a target of a metro track attack.
Yeah. Oh, and the thing is, it's like people they don't even know.
Like,
It's literally
just
just
random people.
yeah. It's just random. Where it's just like even if that were to happen back in the days, even like 10 years ago,
It
it would
was
be because
much
like
more
yeah, it was targeted. It's like I don't
and
like you and I'm gonna push
specific.
you, or I need to rob you, so I'm gonna push you on the tracks. Whereas like now it's just well, you just so happen to be standing there. I'm just gonna push you. That's it.
So they take their wallet, and then after they get their wallet, they're just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna throw it in the tracks."
No, they don't even do that. They don't take their wallets. They don't steal anything. They push them on the tracks and kill them.
What? For no reason.
That's what I'm saying. The crime doesn't make sense anymore. There's just no motive. There's literally they'll even show the videos. Like you can literally look up a video right now of like say like NYC like track pushing, and it doesn't make sense. And nobody can figure it out. Like it's just weird.
This is my thing too. Like you brought that up, how people don't give a fuck. Like I know that myself as well. Like, I know people don't give a fuck. So like me personally, I know this is weird and might sound crazy, but every time I go to like a family event or like any place that I don't know of, and they offer me food, Emmanuel knows this, bro. Emmanuel knows how I am about food. If they offer me food, automatically off my brain has a trigger where it's like, don't eat that food because you don't know what the fuck they put in it.
Oh damn! Even your own family.
My not even my own family. My own family is cool because I've known them for a while. My mother could cook for me. My father could cook for me. I know them, but it's a place I don't know. I have like a trigger where it's like, don't eat their food because you don't know what the fuck they put in it.
Right.
Like people do stupid shit. You never know, bro. Even though it sounds crazy for me to think that way.
No, I think that because I get sick sometimes eating some people. They don't know how to cook.
That's just the way I'm like, no. Even sometimes I get into strong temptations. I'm like, bro, this food smells good as fuck. Like this shit smells bomb, bro. And I want to eat it so bad. But then my mind is like, no, Carlos, don't eat that because you don't know what the fuck they did to. You don't know where the fuck they've been. You don't know what the fuck they did to that food. Like, don't touch it. And I just end up not eating it. That's just the way I like act. Unless it's like a situation where I see it's like they set up a little buffet where everybody's eating off the same thing and I'm not getting given the food like
individually.
Everybody's getting the same thing in like a buffet situation, I'll eat it. But if it's not like that, no, I'm not. I'll be like, I'm not hungry. That's just the way I do it. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's
no, I do the same thing. Like I just don't trust. Well, it depends on the situation. I've kind of realized too, like a lot of people just don't understand like basic food prep. And I'm like, why am I getting sick? And then I look at them cooking and then like I'm like, wait a minute, why are you washing this stuff like that or not washing or doing this, that, and the other? And I'm
You
like,
had this chicken sitting out for 4 hours before you decide to cook it.
no, they'll be like, so we're thinking food safety. You're not technically supposed to like wash the chicken with like soap and water. You're supposed to use like lemon because if you do this the water thing, I think one, it messes up the flavor. Two, it's like the salmonella spreading all over the kitchen because the water's like splashing. So it's like it's a lot of things. Especially I've worked in a restaurant before. Like I know how to
washing chicken with soap and water.
Apparently, a lot of people. They were calling me crazy that I was like I wasn't doing. I'm like, no, I'm not eating that. I'm trying to get sick.
Rinsing off the chicken is fine, rinsing it off, that's fine. I never heard about the lemon thing. I got to try that out.
Yeah, it kills. So lemons kill bacteria.
Who's rinsing off chicken?
I don't do that. Some people do it, but I don't do it because I know the germs they like spread all over the place. But yeah,
Hey,
lemon is the best bet.
The lemon kills off the bacteria, but also at the same time gives it that lemony flavor, though. I love lemons, bro. Lemons are fire. I'll put lemons in water and I'll be straight for the day.
See, yeah, lemons. That's why lemons are usually served with like a lot of like dishes. Like when I cook, like I'll put like a lemon in as like a garnish because it's like, yeah, lemons they go well with water. They go well with pretty much most food. And it just gives it a kick. It's not like a flavor like substitute, but it enhances it. Like whatever existing flavor, because like you put the lemon on the chicken. And it's just like you're gonna put other like ingredients and everything like that, and it just like it enhances things.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And then What else? But yeah, it all just depends. Like I've cooked so many different types of chicken recipes. Like I can't even think. Like yeah, wait, what were we talking about before? So yeah, just how people are nowadays. There's just no common sense
Have
anymore.
anyone ever pushed a chicken onto the tracks of
We're
NYC?
talking about chicken, so I want to get into the chicken now because
Wait, you said post a chicken on the tracks of NYC?
Make some
Did you
pate.
have you ever seen the video where those pigeons like they like gang up on one bird and then they push the freaking pigeon onto the subway tracks? Did you see that video?
No, I
It's the
haven't seen-
funniest video on earth. Oh my God.
they were jumping them in, and it's like you ain't
Yeah, no, not even kidding. The pigeons
you
were
ain't blood.
legitimately,
We push you on.
hey pal, I'm gonna knock you in the middle of next week. Yeah, they like
Hey,
push.
you go sleep with the rats.
Bro, there's so many rats here. Oh my God. I like almost trip over them and I like
They're in
laugh.
Atlanta now, dude.
Oh, they've always been there. Yeah.
I never see. I didn't know that. I just found that out like a month ago.
ask
They
you a
were
question.
in. I was walking through like Midtown, and then I'm like, "There's fucking rats. What? This is not New York. What are you doing?"
They took
Man,
us up.
Emmanuel, I gotta ask you a question.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a quick question, bro, because I've been to New York one time in my life when I was a kid. And all I remember about being there was the awful fucking smell, bro. I don't know if you have it on that side of New York in Brooklyn, but when I went to like New York City, bro, it smelled like fucking garbage, bro. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
it always smells like that.
I'm like, bro, this shit smells disgusting, bro. Like, I don't know how the fuck they live there, bro, because I'm like breathing in trash, the aroma. Like, I guess somebody was telling me because I asked somebody from New York. I'm like, bro,
Just
like,
the way the city's designed, they can't even fix it. It's impossible.
alleys or they don't have a lot of alleys or something
Yeah,
like that.
it's all a myth. Like when you see the movies, when there's like every single movie, there's like millions of alleyways. Like, no. So the way that Chicago's designed versus New York, so Chicago's actually a better designed city, like in terms of like grid layout. It's like a real grid. Whereas New York, there's like elements of grid city, but even
But
in like
it's
certain areas,
enclosed
yeah, it's like
ultimately, right?
yeah. So it's like if the thing is like on islands or whatever. So it's like some of the roads, it's
Oh,
like there's the roads are straight, but then they're turned at angles and like that. Where Chicago, like or the Midwest in general, all the roads,
yeah.
literally, you could drive on the same
Blocked,
road
yeah.
for the entire state and literally just drive in the same direction. Don't even turn your wheel. And then you end up in like Indiana or like Iowa or something like that. Whereas like here, it's just like, no, there's some roads that kind of swerve through, but like for the most part, like it's like a grid, but like shifted at certain angles and everything like that. But the way like the buildings are closer together. So as a result, so back in the days, apparently there were more alleyways, but then like because of like the whole zoning thing, they decided like New York and Chicago, they were like in a race to build like the bigger city. So Chicago really was in the lead at first. So New York is like, hold up, hold up. We're not having that. So they rezoned most of Manhattan, right? Like in the 1800s, and they just rezoned it as like high density, like residential and commercial, and they started knocking down the old buildings and started building skyscrapers. So the cities just kept competing, and then yeah, of course, New York eventually won. But as a result, because they were just kept building skyscrapers, so New York actually was the first city in 1916 to invent like zoning laws. Because Brooklyn, yeah, I mean, there's still like skyscrapers outside of Manhattan, but like throughout like Brooklyn and Queens, like there's less like skyscrapers, but that was because of that specific zoning law saying like, yeah, you can't have buildings over a certain height in certain areas without like certain business codes. But because of that, that's when other cities started enacting that exact same like ordinance or like law like all across America. Otherwise, every city would just probably be like composed of skyscrapers. But they do that because like if you just have a bunch of skyscrapers, then what does that do? It creates way too much traffic, way too much pollution and everything. Whereas like if you have a city, you're supposed to keep everything like at a center point, and everybody that lives on the outskirts or like in lower density areas, they commute to a center point and then they go home. And then they do that every day, going back and forth. And it's easier to like centralize things. Whereas like with here, it's like I really want to say that the New York metro area probably has like 20 skylines or 30 skylines. Like it's just for like various reasons. But Yeah, but it even like as of recently, like there's still construction being built. Like they're building these like skyscrapers. They're called super tall. So it's like I say this is our like Futurama phase where like that the buildings are like comically tall and they just like what the hell is this? Like we're getting to that Futurama state. Like I think this is the beginning of that where they're building like really thin skyscrapers and they call it like billionaires row, where it's like all the like overly wealthy people that are like own properties. They live in like Dubai or live in China or like other foreign countries, and they have like these penthouses that are like ungodly amount of money, and they look down upon the city and they're like, yeah, I run this place, and or yeah,
That's what.
or they might just own it because if a building is abandoned, you could write it. It's a tax write-off, so they make money off of it. So there's a lot of it. Like there's just empty like finished skyscrapers that have been like kind of like being built.
Or called in Dubai again. I forgot what that tower was called.
Oh, the Burj Khalifa.
Oh yeah, Burj Khalifa. Yeah, I was researching it, and I was actually researching like other things, like the cleaning crew over there and the way that they.
Oh
clean.
no, that'd be so hard.
I was all like, bro, like they're intense, bro. Like they had this like I don't know what it's called, but it's like a light that you beam over like any object, anything like the wall, for example, and you beam over it, and you could see like the light will allow you to see if there's like any dust on the wall, and so you can't see it through the human eye. Like if I were to look at the wall, I'd be like, this wall looks fine, it doesn't have no dust on it, but as soon as you put that beam on it, it's like it shows like, oh, there's fucking dust on the wall. So they be ripping the employees' ass like, oh, you gotta make sure you wipe this wall
Oh no.
Cleaning like super like anal, bro. And I'm all like, I could never like super clean, bro. Like you have to have literally their goal is perfection, not to strive for perfection, but literally perfection, bro. Like that has to be A1 clean, bro. Otherwise.
No, I've never even heard of that. That's insane.
That sounds like hell.
Right. What the hell? Construction started 2004. So I actually remember, so in 2001, I watched a documentary with my mom, like basically talking about how life would be by like 2010, like or life in Dubai, right? Like they were talking about, they're like, oh yeah, in the next 20 years that this is how the city's gonna look. We're gonna make a certain area that's kind of shaped like an artificial like island, like a palm tree. And I was like, oh cool, I'll have that by the time I'm like 20 or whatever. So like I watched the whole thing about that. Yeah, I was like a little kid, and yeah, it just basically they predicted like they didn't include that, but they like predicted like everything, like how dense the city would look, and I'd be like, oh yeah, it's like super modern and futuristic, and I think it might have mentioned the Burj Khalifa, but I remember hearing about the Burj Khalifa in the early 2000s because that's when they first started like talking about it as well, and they're like, yeah, it's because the building is actually like I think it's a mile high, that like a mile wide, but like it's that tall, like it's a mile into the sky, like it's obnoxious. And like I think they were even trying to like outdo themselves and create like a building even taller than that. But it's just like, how is this even like structurally sound? Like this is like scary. Like the building, what if it like drifts? Which I think it does happen, but the building actually is like an excellent design. Like it's oh, I didn't know this. So apparently the Burj Khalifa was designed by the team that designed the Sears Tower in Chicago. I didn't know that. I'd never heard of that at all.
I'll never call it Willis Tower. It's always gonna be Sears
Nobody
Tower.
calls it. I'm not even from Chicago, and I refuse to call it the Willis Tower because it's the Sears Tower. This is what we all grew up with, the Sears Tower.
Right.
It doesn't sound right, Willis Tower.
Willis, get the fuck out of
Who
here.
is Willis?
They bought it. Someone that bought it, and it's like, yeah.
Who is this Willis guy? I'm gonna
name.
look that up. Willis. I don't know who this Willis guy
Well,
is.
Sears is
Okay,
like-
Willis Towers. Okay, namesake. Willis Towers Watson Public Limited Company. Oh, they're British? The company was founded in 2016. Oh, wait a minute. So that name just changed in 2016? It was that recent?
That name was like from 2010.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seemed like it changed.
Look.
Yeah, because it's just Sears and Roebuck, and it's like the iconic freakishly because that building is like wide and then it's like stacked and then it goes up. Like it's I noticed that about buildings in Chicago. And like a lot of the buildings, I feel like they're just like very bulky.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd say it's like a really well designed city or whatever. But oh, back to the alley thing. So New York actually has a couple prominent alleys, but the ones that they use in movies all the time is it's this Chinatown alleyway where it's like what is it called? Chinatown Alley. I see. Cortlandt Alley. And yeah, I went by it the other day and it's like really gritty. Like it literally looks like it was frozen in time in like the 80s because it's like graffiti and like it is the trash cans and everything. So they don't have to dress up the street too much. So there's massive amounts of filming over there all the time. And yeah, so yeah, if you look at multiple movies, you'll realize like, wait a minute, that looks like that was from that movie. That looks like it was from that movie. Well, yeah, probably was because they're all using the same alley. And then there's like another, but there's like the one alley that kind of would rival Chicago. But the other alley that I kind of discovered was this other one that's on the Lower East Side, like going south. And I don't even think it has like a name, but it kind of has that like classic New York look that people are like, that would expect to see. And like, yeah, they're like, I would say alleys in the sense that it's like not an official street because like Chicago alleys, they seem more like actual streets, right? Where you could fit like a garbage truck through, right?
Right. They're actually like they're pretty narrow, but you could fit a garbage
Yeah,
truck.
so it's narrow, but like much wider than you think. Whereas with here, it's just like they're alleyways, but they're like narrow, like maybe you could fit like a car or something like that. But it's never like, oh yeah, this was specifically made to be like an alleyway, and you could do all that stuff. So that's where I think there's in terms of architecture, I do think I do like aspects of Chicago like better than New York sometimes.
Now, one day when we're rich, we'll all go to the Dominican Republic and
Hey,
fuck
let's do it.
Why you gotta be rich? Okay, let's just go to Puerto Rico. You don't gotta be rich. You go to Puerto Rico.
You don't got to be rich, but if you want to do, I'm not saying you got to be rich to go to these places. I'm saying
Oh, to have the fun out.
shit. If you want to do the crazy shit, the fun ass shit, you got to have some money in your pocket for that
What?
shit.
Being on a yacht with some tanks?
Yes, being on the yacht with some tons, bro.
Hey, at least if we go to Puerto Rico, that means we don't have to like convert our money.
And let
Right.
me tell
Or have
I'm
a
gonna
passport.
I'm gonna tell you guys the truth because my mom's worked for the airlines for years, 30 years. So I've managed to have her flight benefits because she's worked for the airlines for so many years. So I've managed to travel to places like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna tell you right now, the comparison Hawaii and Puerto Rico, I'll choose Puerto Rico any day because it's just
Really?
like Hawaii. It's
But
just like
cheaper.
just with better food, bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because we have mountains, we have waterfalls, we have bioluminescent bays, we have all that shit that Hawaii has, but just better women and better food.
I'm not gonna lie, those women, oh my gosh, a Puerto Rican woman.
I'm having flashbacks right now. That's all.
Oh, you've been
You said what?
you've been with a Puerto Rican woman?
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, they're the best. They're crazy, but they're the best.
Oh, crazy indeed. Oh, God. And it's the fact they're self-aware too that's scary.
They're self-aware that they're crazy and ain't trying to
Oh,
change
yeah.
for no one.
Like having mothers talk about, don't hurt my daughter, I'll come beat you up with a baseball bat. What the fuck? No, I kind of see what you guys mean by some of these waters look kind of dirty-ish. It just depends on the pictures, I guess, because some of these waters look murky, and then sometimes these things look tropical, bro. Like, what?
That's called editing. To try to make people feel better about themselves for only having Lake Michigan in Chicago. You ain't got in no other water.
I mean, you guys' lake is so big that at least you could fit like entire ships, and then you guys could have like exports and stuff.
That's true.
Like, it's almost not even really a lake. It's just it's like a sea. It's literally just a sea.
I
And
flew
then
my drone over it
Right
last
now,
time.
oh really?
I'm gonna tell you right now that Atlanta, Georgia has the best soul food I ever had in my fucking life.
Amen.
I
Swear
never had it.
when I went there, I was like, holy fuck, bro. I could eat this every fucking day, bro.
Yeah, no,
Everywhere.
New York soul food, I'm sorry, but it doesn't touch Atlanta. It really doesn't. Like
You can get
barbecue is just so much better down south. I'm sorry, but cancel
So
me. I don't care. I don't care, guys that are listening, but Atlanta, when it comes to barbecue,
that's because the people are fatter down south.
they
Up
really
north,
are.
they're a little bit skinnier. That's how
Yep,
you know who's eating good.
exactly. Exactly. It's true though. Because yo, in Texas, you know how they say like everything is like bigger? It's completely true.
Even the women, especially the women,
No,
way
seriously,
bigger.
the women are physically larger. It's the weirdest
yeah,
thing.
because they got the burger, the what's the other one called? Um,
You
Jack.
know,
Yeah,
Jack in the
Jack in the Box.
That's fattening as fuck, bro. They got all the fat, nasty foods, bro.
Bro, you know what's even weirder is that they have a bunch of like steak.
you always hear about this thing about Wells Fargo.
What? No, I'm concerned because I have Wells Fargo. What is it?
Okay, so we're in the clear. All of us right here are in the clear. But they're going, they said they're changing the business model. They're going to limit the amount of mortgages, like home loans they get off,
Why?
particularly to focus on minority groups. Right? So they're going to focus on the existing customers and only giving out loans to those that are in a minority group. So right now it's sort of trending that white people are upset that there is like, if you're white, Wells Fargo hates you and you can't get a loan from Wells Fargo, and it's America's #1 mortgage lender. So it's like it's like
There's also the same
Wells
company,
Fargo
mind you, that literally built its profits on slavery, wasn't it them?
exactly. So it's like, uh, just desserts, like what is this like? Is this like reparations? That's still doing loans. You're still gonna have everyone's still gonna pay interest rates. So it's like what?
Oh my God. What's the catch? Like, I just want to know, like, what's their catch? They're not just doing this out of the kindness of their heart. There's always a catch.
The catch is probably a lot of minority groups don't. A lot of individuals in the minority groups don't qualify for a mortgage loan anyway. So they're probably going to just focus on the people that they've already got, because a lot of the new millennials don't have good credit anyway because of student loans and whatnot.
Dude,
So it's
so
actually
screwed.
probably not going to change a lot about their structure
No.
anyway.
Yeah,
So
most likely it won't.
so it's like there's people getting upset, like rightfully so, because it's discriminatory in practice. But ultimately, for the long-term business model, they're just getting ahead of the curve because it's a business, it's a bank. They know what the hell they were doing. If they thought they were going to lose billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, do you think they would do it? They're a bank. They've been in business since the 1800s. They're not going to do something that they've identified a trend and they're moving in that direction. So it's like, it's going to benefit them no matter what. They're not doing something because they're kind, because
Oh yeah, 100%. Why would they do something out of the kindness of their heart? And especially after all this time, I just don't believe that.
and then a lot of white people say, well, I'm not ever doing business with Wells Fargo again. I'm taking all my money out of Wells Fargo. It's like, okay.
Take some of your money out and give it to me, please. Rent's too expensive here. I hate it.
Like, we'll see what the response is to it, but that's when that come out, I'm like, maybe I should get a home loan and buy a house. They're like,
Bro, buying a house nowadays. Hey, at least in Chicago, you could buy a house. Like, it
nah,
seems
you don't want to buy a house in Chicago though. That's the thing. You can, but you don't want to.
like at least it's a possibility. Like here, it's just
Oh, you can't buy a house in Nah. In New York, you have to be a millionaire.
Yeah, pretty much.
A
My family owns their
multi-millionaire.
house or whatever.
In New
And
York,
Mhm.
is it a
Actually, on a
brownstone or is it like a
no,
house
it's actual
with
like house. It actually does not look like it belongs in New York. It looks like it belongs in California. It's like
Oh
it's a
really? Oh
Spanish villa.
snap.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like the only house that looks like that, or one of the few only houses. And I was just like, oh, okay. It's just in the middle of the city. Okay, it's interesting. So yeah, they own it, and yeah, I think some people do like own like houses, and it just depends on the area. But like the overarching theme of like New York is like. Yeah, you just have to have money. It's so annoying.
Apartments with and your closet has a toilet and a toaster.
My apartment's actually decent. I'm not
It
even gonna
has
lie.
also a bedroom. Is it
I,
decent?
I actually live in a pretty decent spot. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
like a lot, probably more decent than other people.
You can't see your kitchen from your toilet.
It's no, it's actually spacious. It's actually decent.
Lucky, bro. Lucky.
I totally lucked out. I'm not even gonna front. Like that's why I don't even complaining. I'm like, oh, you know what? I might just stay at home
New
and
York's
just
not that bad. I'm not living in a shoebox.
right. I literally it's because I'm so stubborn, bro. Like I refuse to live like in bad conditions, like any type of slumminess. Like I'm not down for it, bro. I killed only one roach last night. The first one I've seen here. I hate
Jesus,
them.
bro. Must be fucking nice, bro. I don't know what it's like to live lavish at all, bro.
Yeah, I would say like the best way to just start making more money is just like it depends on the industry. It depends on like level of education. But especially because I work in tech or whatever, and like like I know for a fact that like having a degree plus certifications.
It's weird because I feel like tech has the lowest barrier to entry.
Which kind of makes no sense to me because I feel like it also has some of the highest paying roles and also like some of the most like
Diverse careers in the sense that it's just like you don't have to do like stuff that's hands-on to the software. Like it could be
It's the most in demand job right now. You know,
and unfortunately it also has the highest one of the highest number of layoffs. So it's
yeah.
kind of a it's a double-edged sword. It's really weird. But like overall, as like career-wise, I say long term, like other than what we're going through right now, I'd say it's the best because if you notice that like robots are taking over. You heard about all the robots that are like been at restaurants? I can't go a day now without hearing something about a robot.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Every day I'm like,
Hey,
bro.
robot. What
It's
was that?
iRobot and Wally mixed together. That's the society we're moving towards.
That was another.
Eventually, it's gonna take a lot of jobs away, like warehouse and stuff like that. So take hella jobs away for the lower class.
And crime is just gonna continue to go up, and then they're gonna wonder why. Like, and then people are gonna be bored. Like, you have to have some sort of
Then
balance.
we got RoboCops, dude. The crimes.
Oh, did you hear about that in San Francisco? Did you hear about the RoboCop? Bro, it's kind of scary. So there's this RoboCop that apparently
says San Francisco supervisors, let's see, plan to allow police robots to attack. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, to use deadly force.
No way.
such as when a mass shooter or a terrorist is the focal.
They said they backtracked.
It's the fact that they considered it though, because
Right.
in Dubai they've had those things for like over a decade now.
I want to make a great contribution, a positive contribution to these robots.
I already made my contributions. I actually was in a robotics class this semester, and I
Oh,
built
yeah?
robots. Yeah, so I know a lot.
Did you do any
Oh shit!
why am I blanking on it right now? Essentially learning. So you're teaching when you're teaching a program through several thousands of permutations of it goes over. So it's something learning.
God damn it, I forgot what the terminology is. I know what you're talking about.
I'm blanking on it right now. It's so wild.
No, I know what you're talking about. So, the way that it would interact with this environment was that, I think we did it sort of like on a minimal scale. If something's within a certain proximity, then stop or go or scale the
Okay,
wall.
okay.
Yeah, so it was cool. I mean, like it's weird because luckily it was an intro class and we actually built the robots out of like Legos, but I'm like, it got kind of advanced. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, just imagine like even digitally, but if you want something like that, like just imagine how much detail goes into like a self-driving car. Like it's just insane, you know, where it makes all those calculations on its own after you've programmed it, you know.
I heard something about a self-driving car. I think it crashed into I think it crashed into somebody recently, self-driving
The only
car.
self-driving cars that get into accidents are ones with a human behind the wheel.
Nah.
Comedy. Oh, I found it. Actually, it was here in New York. It says a self-driving car in Bay Ridge uh created a crash of 8 different cars as of last week. His reaction.
Oh shit, bro! They gotta sue that motherfucker. Bro.
Oh, wait a minute.
A driver told authorities that the Tesla's full self-driving software braked unexpectedly and triggered an 8-car pileup. This nigga was drunk.
Wait a minute. Bro, actually, I take it back. It was California. I take it back. This
Yeah,
was
San Francisco, yeah.
okay, never mind. I'm not taking the L for
You know,
yeah. It was a
that-
Tesla. Yeah, so I take back everything I just said. Yo, bro, this is terrible. This looks like you remember that game on you guys remember that game on PlayStation called Burnout?
I think so. Where you crash into like multiple
Yes, it
cars.
looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it was like this racing game. It was like, oh, yeah, it was pretty goated. I'm not even gonna lie. It was like I had the original for like GameCube, and then like because I would always borrow my cousins like the like Burnout Takedown and Burnout. Cannot remember the other ones, but yeah, no, like they got like more realistic over time. But yeah, no, the crashes were like the physics were like very like detailed or whatever, and
Yeah.
yeah, if you like
I
tipped it
love
at a
that
certain
game.
angle.
I love that fucking game. I loved. Now you reminded me of my childhood, bro, because I loved that fucking game, bro.
Oh man, this is a classic. You notice that nobody talks about racing games much anymore?
Nah, the last thing I heard about was Forza, and that's
Forza,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just Forza, and then like nobody talked about like let's see, Forza. Was it Forza Horizon 5?
Yeah, probably when it came out with Xbox One.
Yeah, it was that. Oh, because that was the game that was like super realistic, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and the crew. Uh
Wait, you would get a crew?
no, The Crew. There's another racing game, The Crew.
Oh, what is that? The crew. Oh, what the heck is this? Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Open world racing game. What? This is like Midnight Club.
Yeah. They're really I mean the steering apparatus is like the what do you call it? The stand uh peripheral. The driving peripherals are they're in Walmart now. So evidently they're like getting more mainstream, but they're not really at the same time they're not really being talked about. But
This particular game.
uh racing games in general, or like the driving, there's actually steering wheels and you got the pedals and you got the shifters, like they're becoming a lot more realistic, but I think they're becoming a little bit more niche as well.
Dang, that sucks. Yeah, because everybody used to talk about like racing games at one point, and
Yeah,
just like it kind of got overtaken by like I don't know. I guess with so many shooters, but then at the same time, I
yeah,
don't hear anybody talk about Call of Duty anymore like
with
that.
the well, Modern Warfare 2, people are pretty good, but all the battle royales and all the kids getting into doing these things and the money you're getting from these battle royales and which is like Fortnite and what
Do y'all
else?
think that video games are becoming too competitive now?
Yeah, 2K for instance.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
2K is way harder to play than it was before.
I've seen some gameplay. It's ridiculous. Wait, you can, I think you could actually have a career in the game now, right? That's like outside of basketball.
Yeah.
Like you can, like have a nine to
That's
five to like make money. I'm like, what
insane.
is this?
Are you saying that because that's the game you got and you're not doing good? You
I
haven't won
haven't
a
bought a 2K in
yeah.
years. They're all the same
I'm
now to
not
me.
doing good at the game, but I remember it was much easier to play before. It was much easier to play before. Now they added more things to it where it's harder to shoot. So it's
It's
a
more
fucking
you gotta
circus.
time it better instead of
You
just
gotta time
pressing
it better. You gotta hit it at the right spot. It's like fuck,
yeah.
man. Makes it way more harder.
Oh no. This is why I feel like the where they peaked was NBA Street Volume 2. They peaked at that. It was
NBA
the perfect.
Street Volume 2. And the
It
best
was
fighting game was rap fights. What is it called? Uh
rough fights.
they had a bunch of rappers and
Wait, who? Fight for New York.
yeah, something like that. They
Hold
had
up.
like 50 Cent, they had like
Yeah, I
Ja
think that was fight.
Rule.
Yeah, Def Jam. There we go. That's the
Def
word.
Jam, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, Def Jam. Fight for New York. Like, it was hilarious.
And Michael Jackson was a character in the game. You could
Here was.
yeah, you could unlock him.
Yo,
Yeah.
that's mad funny. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Little Kim, Snoop Dogg, Method Man, Redman, Fat Joe, Mobb Deep, Ice-T, Exhibit, Nore. Why was Nore? This gets so random. Ludacris, Crazy Legs. That sounds familiar. Busta Rhymes, Flavor Flav, Sean Paul. What
Paul
the hell?
Paul.
Bubba Sparks. Yo, yeah, nah, this game was wild. Yeah, like, but I don't know. I kind of feel like a lot of like I would say mainstream games like that where they were like more innovative and weren't so focused on just trying to make the graphics as good as possible. I don't know, man. Like you said, it feels like games are getting so niche or whatever
Yeah,
that
there's thousands of indie games and
yeah, like if you go on Steam, like you can find like really dope games, but they're like as an overall theme, I'm not hearing all the little kids like talking about it. I was just like,
right. They're just talking about the competitive games that they won't be good at for a while unless they're spending hours a day on video games, which some kids are being allowed to do because of the prospect of having a career in it later in life. But like,
bananas to me.
you think do you think the esports is going to become the new NBA or new NFL, where it's like all these kids going to invest so much time into playing video games, and only a few of them are going to make it to these big leagues and all this stuff.
It's already happening. I actually just watched a video about that like very recently where like yeah, apparently in high schools now they have actually I think at certain colleges, I think even at mine, they have like actual like they're considered like D1 sports. I'm like, what? And yeah, no, you literally have to go through like training or whatever.
Like I get
And
it, it is talent. You
yeah,
gotta
no, it
have.
is talent. I'm not like undermining them, and technically your brain is like kind of a muscle anyway. Like your
But
freaking muscles.
are you actually gonna be strong for a real war? Like what? Yeah, like you're fast with your fingers. Okay, your girlfriend's gonna be happy with you.
But
But
yeah,
what else? But you also be playing with a joystick all day, so maybe you're a bit of fruitcake. So I don't know. You all know. All right. Thank you, OG, and thank you, Carlos, for joining this wonderful and very out there episode. We talked about a few things. We learned a few things. All right. You all be blessed, stay blessed, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Stay awesome, listeners.
Peace.
Thanks for listening.